Hello, I welcome you all in the lecture series of memory. Today we are going to start a new topic, that is forgetting. We have been talking about forgetting from our first lecture, that some information we are forgetting, and the forgetting of information is happening for good. Under certain circumstances, under certain scenario, forgetting is good. But if forgetting is happening too much, then forgetting is making our life and day-to-day activities challenging. This problem arises commonly and has been seen commonly in elderlies. This is a major cause of one of the major cause of elderly disability also. Now, the problem of forgetting, why an individual is forgetting an information. What we previously discussed is that forgetting and decay is a natural process, a process where an individual is trying to update an information or maintain an information, where an individual ensures the information which we do not want, with the information which is irrelevant to us, we wash it out. We do not keep it, because we have a system where we have to register, encode and store information from childhood memories to our present scenario. As you can see in the cartoon, the old lady, she is confused, she is forgetting what she is supposed to buy. Where is the list of grocery items? What items she mentioned in the list? And such confusion is become part of their everyday life. These individuals suffer with the forgetting. These individuals suffer in remembering the item. The question which we should be asking to ourselves, that is forgetting good? Is forgetting bad? Why forgetting is happening? What are the underlying neural mechanism of forgetting? Is it the matter of retrieval failure? Is it the matter of information which does not exist and that is why retrieval is not happening? There are many such questions to ask in this topic. Let me walk you through to the basic understanding of forgetting. What is forgetting? Loss of information from our long-term memory. The memory, which is a repository, it stores the information for indefinite period of time. The repository which is keeping an information about our loved dear ones, birthdays, anniversaries and relevant information, like where I have kept my car keys, where I have kept my house key, where I have put my wallet. The loss of information from long-term memory can be temporary or can be permanent. The temporary loss, the question which researchers have been trying to understand, when is the temporary loss? To what information there is a temporary loss? What is the nature of information where the memory is going for permanent loss? Is there a distinction between the nature of the information? The temporary loss, can it be overcome? Because we know the permanent loss of information cannot be overcome, because information does not lie there anymore. It becomes very difficult for an individual to trace the entire set of memory and ensure that the amount of information which we have encoded and stored is going to lie there forever. It is even very challenging for an individual to ensure that the amount of information which is present in his or her repository at the time of retrieval can be retrieved. Such challenging questions, such challenging concepts and ideas require a deeper insight and bit more understanding in this area. Memory system seems to evolve as an aid for remembering and encounters with the predators. The information which we were trying to encode and store for our survival. At the time of survival, when our ancestors were encountering the predators, how to fight, how to safeguard themselves, what kind of defense barrier they have to build against the predators. And imagine if they forget this information, our generation would have been still living in the caves. The evolution, no doubt, has helped us to evolve, but at the same time memory system has keep on evolving and ensured to keep the mankind safe from the threat present in the environment. Here we prioritize the information, here we select the information, here we make the hierarchy. We select which information we need and which information we do not need. The information which is less relevant for us, the information which is irrelevant for us, we try to erase it from our memory system. Now some erasure is good, but some erasure can lead to catastrophe. If we all remember the defense mechanism proposed by Sigmund Freud, repressing the memories about the traumatic event, one such erasure is there. The question we are asking, is that forgetting permanent in nature or temporary in nature? Is it good or is it bad? Rather than diving into ourselves into such questions, it is better to slowly and gradually understand the nature of forgetting. The nature of forgetting, if you all remember, we discussed it long back when we were talking about the Hermann-Ebbinghaus experiment, classical experiment. You have learned something, and when you try to retrieve, the forgetting starts and it decreases exponentially. The same pattern, forgetting item recalled here, you see it is decreasing exponentially, and the decrease in the recall reaches an optimal level, stabilizes over a period of time. The two information, the new list and the old list, both are trying to become stable. This curve which you are seeing on your screen for old list and new list is the curve of forgetting, the rate with which people are forgetting the information which they learned earlier. This curve of forgetting has been constant for different kinds of and amounts of information. The nature of information is important towards the forgetting list. Now, while talking about the nature of information is important, the Jost's law says that if two memories are there and both the associations are equally strong, or both the memories are equally strong, then the old association or the old memory will be more durable, will be more robust and less likely to be forgotten. Now when we are talking about this thing, we have to understand that the similar aspect is happening in the fear memory and fear extinction. Fear memory in the conditioning modeling, where we are learning about the fear in a lab, and when we are learning about the safety procedure, safety learning, building safety memory on day 2, then the two memories are competing with each other. if the old memory impression is coming back, this means there is a relapse of fear. If the new memory response is coming back, this means that it has overwritten the old memory and the safety memory is coming back, failure of relapse. In any type of counseling sessions or the intervention used with the traumatic individual, the problem with trauma, the problem with post traumatic stress disorder, panic disorder, anxiety and related disorder, the relapse is a challenge. So, understanding such phenomena give us an insight why new learning or new information people are not able to form so robustly, so strongly, and why the new learning and new memory is not so durable in nature that it can override the previous memory. Definitely, when we talk about the Joss law, we have to even ask ourselves, what are the boundary conditions of memory? The nature of the stimuli, the nature of the information, the nature of the memory itself which is being formed. As the time passes by, we have seen the memory which is remained, which stays till the last, become more and more resilient over a period of time. And this is the reason that why the PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder individuals, form a memory, pathological memory, and as the time passes by it becomes more and more resilient towards the treatment. We discussed the classical experiment of Hermann Ebbinghaus earlier. He used the method of memory drum, but while talking instead of talking about the forgetting, he talked about how much information we are saving, how much information is getting saved after the loss. So, he came up with the forgetting curve, which is extensively being used till date, and another contribution was the savings method. Using this saving method, one can figure out how much information is going to be preserved after the loss, after the forgetting. So, how much was saved from one study session to the next one? Memorizing the list of nonsense syllable till he did not do any mistake indicated that he has learned the list. Accuracy is 100%, no error, no loss of information. He retrieved it immediately and then he retrieved it after some time later. And the interval he varied from a study session to the test session from 1 hour to 1 month, from a month, and he observed that there is a decline, exponential decline is there. This exponential decline he called it as forgetting curve. This is the rate with which people are forgetting the information. And he calculated this saving method using a log function. So, what was the formula for that? B constant, saving constant, saving amount of information being saved is equals to 100 into constant k upon log t. T denotes the time in minutes, as we said, from hours to days to month. So, in a month, how many minutes are there? 1 month equals to 60 minutes into 24 hours into 30 days, and the sum is going to be 18, 24, 32, 16, 19, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 43200 minutes. What is the decline? How much decline is there? So, log 43200 to the power of c, constant. The amount which we get indicates this value, the retained information x, or you could say b. This is what we are going to get. Now, let us discuss about the saving method, what he proposed. So, first you have learned this, then you have reached the 100%, then you try to review this. So, memory retention, if we see, indicates how much information we have retained it. Now, saving method, reduction in the amount of time required to relearn the list. More and more retrieval you do, more and more retrieval you will do, you will take less time to relearn the list next time. And this helps an individual. Why? Because of familiarity with the list, because of the frequency of the task itself. You have done overlearning. The greatest saving, relearning carried out within an hour. Within 60 minutes, if you are doing it, you will find it that the maximum saving is being done. More than 80% information can be retrieved of the original learning session. The large decline in saving until a plateau where retention took hold. Large decline. This is the decline. Earlier we have seen that decline, that it reached to the 20 to 25% roughly. The effect of forgetting lessened over time. What does this mean? Means as the time passes by, the forgetting stops. It reaches a stable level. The information do not decay after that period of time. Definitely, the decay has already been more than 80%, but the information which stays back becomes resistant over a period of time. As a result, the forgetting gets lessened. Ebbinghaus even reported, though he was not able to remember the items, entire list of items, he demonstrated that some information he is able to retain it, to retrieve it, only because there is a saving. The reason for retrieval is that there is a saving and saving has been done. Less time is there to relearn the list than to learn the entire list. What does this mean? If you are relearning the list, you will take less time, then the new list has been given to you. Why? As we discussed earlier, frequency, familiarity. Familiarity with the list will help you to relearn the list in less span of time. You may not require the same amount of time as you were learning the original session. Why saving method has been criticized? When Ebbinghaus beautifully depicted that there is some information is being saved. Because the method which Ebbinghaus reported was the saving function. But researchers believed there could be n number of measures which could be a precise indicator of the amount of information which has been decayed, forgotten or saved. It was unclear also from Ebbinghaus' design that whether the dependent measures are measuring the retention in the same manner or not. So many dependent measures are there, and all these dependent measures are doing the same thing. They are measuring the saving of information. So the question arises, are these measures of these different methods are same or different in nature? Complicating the issues of measurement in presence of retrieval queue that may help in retention or divide the attention task that worsen the performance. This even resulted into two problems. Saving method. First, retrieval queue. The relearning or overlearning, when it is happening, the items previously presented act as a queue, retrieval queue. As a result, it helps in the retention, less time is taken. Also, or the attention has been divided. How the delay between different retests should be calculated. How can we calculate the delay between the tests? So, passage of time, that the amount of time has passed, time on some relative index to some other variable, or presence of the intervening events. Let me summarize you what we have studied. Forgetting. Forgetting is a part of human memory. It plays a role in updating and maintenance of information. It helps in filtering out the irrelevant information from our system. However, with elderly, forgetting is a big challenge. Forgetting the keys, forgetting to lock the car, forgetting to lock the house door, forgetting the wallet, forgetting their medical trials, forgetting the doctor's appointment may result into a catastrophic event. Nature of forgetting, different types of forgetting we discussed. We even discussed about when the two types of memories are there of similar strength, then the memory which is robust in nature leaves the impression, and the memory which is weak in nature just get forgotten. The memory which leaves the impression over a period of time become resistant towards change. We even studied about the Hermann Ebbinghaus curve of forgetting and his contribution to forgetting saving method. We even tried to understand the rate of forgetting, with which rate the information is getting forgotten, and why the method of saving is being criticized, the reason for criticism we studied. With this, I will stop here, and in next lecture we will talk about forgetting in further more detail. Thank you.